Pet store facts. Let's take a peek at what you'll see in the pet store. These are gold-skirted tetras. They grow to about 2.25 inches long. They need 10 gallons of water to swim in, and they are peaceful and school, which means that they group together. Just cute little white fish. This is not the stereotypical tetra shape. They're a little bit bigger, a little wider, but still very pretty. These are red minnows. They grow to about 3 inches. They need 10 to 20 gallons of water for swimming. They are peaceful and also school. These are glowfish shortfin purple barbs, and they can also grow to 3 inches. Now, when I say 3 inches, that doesn't mean that they all will make it to 3 inches, but they have the capacity to grow to about 3 inches. They need 20 gallons for swimming. They can be semi-aggressive, and they also school. Now, if you haven't noticed, our presentation is Valentine's themed. It is just around the corner. So we have, a theme going. The fish have been pinks, reds, whites, a lot of Valentine's colors. Now we are moving into snails, which are actually a French delicacy that might be considered fine cuisine for Valentine's. But these ones are pets, not food. They can grow to about 3 inches also. They need 10 gallons of water. They are peaceful and they do not school. I did do a little bit of research online, and it said that they actually can be washed if you want to wash them, but they need that slime as a protective coating. So if they are a little bit slimy, that's actually good for them. After our escargot that wasn't, we have African dwarf frogs, which, of course, frog legs are also a French delicacy, if you are interested in such things. But I will say I am vegetarian vegan, and so they are not appealing to me. And these are just too cute. Who would want to eat them? These frogs can grow up to 2 inches long. They need 3 gallons of water, and they are peaceful and also do not school. And if you want to treat your fish, you can purchase some aquarium plants. There's a whole bunch of them, and some of them include African water ferns, El Nino ferns, narrow leaf ferns, Anubias congensis, Anubias barteri, Fraseri anubius, Borneo fern, cardinal's plant, bacopa, dwarf hairgrass, white ribbon, lucky bamboo, Java fern, Amazon sword, Malaysian red plant, rosette sword, repens, Rotala Vietnam hurrah, and there's many more. So this is just a small sampling. And the plants are important, but we need to make sure we have a good space to put the plants in. So we want to look at their living environments. We want to make sure that the tank you purchase is waterproof, is also big enough for the fish that you are purchasing. We want to make sure that we are taking care of the fish or amphibians or snails. And so we want to check in, make sure that they don't need salt water, or make sure that they get it, or the fresh water. There are water conditioners because the tap water can have salts in it and can be very harsh for fish. So you want to make sure you condition the water to ensure that it is going to be okay for the fish to swim in. We can check in to see if that is best to have filters or tank cleaners. There are natural bugs and insects that might eat algae and things like that, which you can also generally find at the pet store. Having the water oxygenated may be beneficial. Also, it might be too cold for your fish, so you might want to have a heater if the fish are accustomed to 70-degree water and your house happens to be 68 for the winter. So check into it and make sure that you're taking care of your pet. I know I'm having a problem with mine right now, where I need to get a heater, and so that's something that I anticipate getting pretty soon. If you're not a fish person, you might find something little and fuzzy, very cute. They might also have guinea pigs, which are herbivores. They are diurnal or they're day active. That's what diurnal means. They can be very social, and it is suggested that they have a friend in the tank with them, and they generally live from 5 to 8 years. Hamsters are another small critter option that are fuzzy and adorable, and they are omnivores, meaning that they can eat veggies as well as like insects or what have you. They are nocturnal. They are also social, which means that they could definitely have a friend in the tank with them, and their lifespan is 2 to 3 years. Their living environments can vary, of course. This is actually a fish tank that's in the picture, but it is comparable to what the tanks might be if you wanted to get a glass tank for your critter. You would want bedding, toys for engagement, food and water, and you want to make sure that they have space away from their food and their living area to go to the bathroom. A lot of times they will pick a specific corner for that, and it's generally away from the food dish. So you just want to make sure they have enough space to be comfortable and take care of business. So that is for our small critters. There are a few others, of course, that like bunnies are kind of small critters, but unfortunately they weren't at the pet store that I visited for this presentation. These are leopard geckos. We're moving away from our small fuzzies to our small not so fuzzies, our reptiles. So this is a leopard gecko. It is from desert, semi-arid areas. They said the Middle East in a video I watched earlier today. It's the climate that they prefer is 75 to 90 degrees with a 10 to 30% humidity. For human beings, we prefer like a 30% as kind of a normal living environment for us. So that's actually pretty arid. Insectivore, meaning that they eat insects. They can be both night and day dwellers, generally potentially nocturnal emphasis. They have a lifespan of 14 to 16 years. Bahman anoles or anoles, or they're also called brown anoles, are forest dwellers. They like tropical areas and they're arboreal, meaning that they like to climb in trees. Their preferred climate is between 75 and 90 degrees with a 60 to 80% humidity level. They are insectivores also, and they are diurnal or day active with a lifespan of 5 years. I watched some videos on these earlier, and they said that they are pretty prominent down in like the Florida area or down in the islands of the Bahamas, and hence the Bahman anole name. They can turn green, it sounds like. Otherwise, there is another species of green. It's their camouflage. So these lizards, this one and the leopard gecko, can lose their tails if a predator gets them. They have throat fans called dewlaps that can help them look bigger for predators, also used for mating. These are bearded dragons. They live in hot and dry climates that can range from 75 to 100 degrees, and they prefer 20 to 30% humidity. They are omnivores, and they are diurnal or day active with a lifespan of 10 to 12 years. The living environments for reptiles can vary. You want to look and see what's appropriate for the given species. This is a tank in the picture here. They've got little mats and different climbing apparatus. Like, these are obviously very different because the anoles like the tropical and the leopard geckos like the arid, dry desert area. So it did say, I watched another video earlier, and they said that with the humidity, you want to make sure that there is plant life in the tank. They suggest having like a soil, peaty type soil in the bottom to help retain that moisture and to keep it moist. They suggest having live plants. So you really can just have fun with it. The pet store will have terrarium plants available if you want to try and have the terrarium there. They also had live crickets dwelling in the tank. A lot of videos I've seen have kind of suggested that they like live prey. The movement kind of stimulates the hunger and the hunting mechanism in them. So that is something to bear in mind if you get squeamish around bugs or killing bugs, then you might want to think about that. A lot of videos will have the animals out of their tanks, kind of playing, and they even had leashes for the bearded dragons. So honestly, you can be creative. They're your pet, and treat them as you want to treat them. But we'll talk about that later. Moving on from the reptiles, we are going to jump into our birds. So the yellow canary is one of the common birds you'll see at pet stores. They are very social birds and work best in pairs, if not more. They are diurnal and daytime creatures. They can live from 5 to 15 years. They have limited vocalizations, and it is said that they are actually a little bit quieter, so they are nice. They are also called golden finches. So that is our segue into finches. They are social birds as well, work best in pairs or groups. They are diurnal and daytime creatures. They live to 5 years, and they have many offspring, and that's something that I saw mentioned in a few videos. They will have a lot of babies. You can see that the male birds have a slightly different coloring to the female birds. The female birds are all white, and the male birds have a little more color. You'll see that kind of in a number of birds, like the canary was also a different color. That's definitely something to look into if you are interested in birds. Parakeets come in different colors. These ones are blue. They are also social birds. They pair, and they also work well in groups. They are diurnal, daytime creatures. They can live from 7 to 10 years, and they are also quieter than many birds. So those are blue. These ones are yellow, with the same facts, just yellow and green. When you have birds, it's a good idea to think about their living environment and give them stimuli to play with, little toys, also space to fly. It's good that they have a branch-like structure that they can perch on, and a lot of people do suggest letting them out of their cage so they can really stretch their wings and get some exercise. But be mindful that you will have to catch them after. So you'll want to train them if you can, to be comfortable with you, so that way you can collect them easier. The animals also need sustenance to survive. So you can find that at the pet store. They have seeds, bugs, pellets, prepared meats that you might find in a cooler or freezer at the pet store for dogs or cats. They may also be open to fruits and veggies. So look into your animal and I like to kind of think of what I like to eat and presume that the pellets don't have a lot of flavor and try to accommodate for that. Animals also need to bathe. Fish arguably less so, but they actually can also be washed. You can put them in like a mild salt bath that's warm, or to be relaxed and kind of clean off. Gerbils and hamsters take dust baths, and water can actually cause skin concerns for them and potentially give them hypothermia or other health issues, so you want to be mindful of that. Guinea pigs can be washed in water with small animal shampoo. Birds can bathe in bird baths autonomously, or they can also be sprayed with a misting bottle. And reptiles can use a shallow bathing bowl and a brush. So you want to make sure that the animals are comfortable with the bathing apparatus that you choose. So it might take a little bit of training. Watch them for cues and adjust accordingly. That brings us to the ethics of taking care of animals. We do have an obligation to them to take care of them if we have taken it upon ourselves to have a pet. So, and also as good stewards of the environment and biodiversity, we want to take care of animals also. But what does that mean? That means you want to make sure that you're able to take care of them. You want to feed them. You want to bathe them. You want to make sure that they're happy and comfortable. And that might mean getting them toys, making sure that they leave their tanks or have a lot of space within their tanks. It's argued that the more freedom you can give them, the better. So it's something to think about, and you kind of choose your own standards for that. But of course, if there is abuse of the animals, there are organizations to take care of that as well, and you might lose your animal in that circumstance. We are wrapping up our pet store facts, but alas, where are the dogs, cats, and bunnies? The cuties, the fuzzies, the ones we all love. That is another presentation. We'll see you next time. If you have questions, type them in the comments and we'll see if we can get back to you. Thanks so much.